Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I welcome you to this Power of Vision Masterclass. My name is Dawn Huffy. I'm the owner of Liberty Belle Coaching, and my life coaching certifications came through the Brave Thinking Institute. You made the decision to join me in this masterclass, and it is my intention that you leave here today knowing 3 tools that can help you achieve your goals and dreams even faster than you ever imagined. I'd like you to have greater clarity on what those dreams are and to feel even more confident in the power that lives within you to achieve your goals and your dreams. Now, to do this, I'll share a story that will help us take the first step. And in order to do that, I'm going to share my screen. I do have a PowerPoint presentation for today. Great. My computer is thinking, so I'll just bear with that while it does what it's doing here. Well, I think oh, it missed quite a few slides. Okay. Oh, that's okay. Let me just tell you the story and we'll go on with the screen on the wrong screen. Okay, here's the story. A mother mouse was leading her 3 children through a house when all of a sudden they came around the corner and saw a cat. The cat was about to attack, and the mother mouse said in a very loud voice, "Ruff, ruff, ruff," and the cat ran away. The mother mouse turned to her babies and said, "That is the power of learning more than one language." Now, why this story matters to you is because today we are going to be looking at the language of success. This is the language that will bring our dreams into reality, and we really do want success in this area. There is a pattern, a system, a way of doing things that creates the results you want. And once you consciously understand what that language is, then you can apply it to any area of your life that you want to improve. That is what the Dream Builder program is all about, learning a new language of success for life. Do you have a goal or a dream that you would like to achieve, or some area of your life that you would like to improve? Have you ever noticed when you achieved a goal in your life that when you first had the goal, you didn't know how you were going to take every step to get there? That is true for all of us. And that proves a point. You are capable of far more than you know. And the Dream Builder program helps you to tap into all of that capability. Life is not done with you yet. If you are still breathing, God is not done with you yet. My intention today is to give you 3 tools to help you achieve your goals, help you to gain greater clarity on your goals and dreams, and to feel even more confident in your ability. Let's take a minute and ask ourselves, what challenge is going on in my life right now? Perhaps it's in your health, maybe it's your job, maybe it's your lack of free time, maybe it's a relationship, or it could possibly be your finances. Our goals and dreams are often born out of the challenges we face. And why is that? It is because there are 2 signals for growth that we get. And oftentimes we don't really understand what these signals are telling us. So the first signal is our longing. We long for something more. Maybe we want a better, fuller relationship. Maybe we want a different job. We're longing for something. So that's one signal. The second signal is discontent. So when we feel discontent, This means that we really don't like what's going on, and it's a signal to change what's going on. So longing for something more and discontent with what you have. These are the two signals for growth. You can be pushed by pain and you can be pulled by a vision. These two energies, the pain of your problem and the desire for what you want, are essential for creating something different, for creating different results. I want to share a time in my life where pain pushed me to make a change. I had longings and discontent, and I was not paying attention to them. I was putting them off to the side, thinking I had to stay with what I had, until the pain of my situation came forth. And I knew at that point I had to make a change. So, as some of you might know, in the fall of 2020, I was feeling so very frustrated at all of the restrictions and the requirements at my job in the private school where I worked. I felt terrible about the things that they wanted me to comply with. I knew if I did comply that I would be so unhappy with myself. Going against my values never works out for me. On our final day of in-service, when the new restrictions were delivered, I made a decision. I decided that my job was coming to an end that day. That decision was scary since I had no other job in mind at the time. It wasn't convenient and it wasn't comfortable making that decision, but the alternative was not acceptable to me. I was pushed by the pain of my situation to make a change. Within a month of leaving that job, I discovered a life coach named Mary Morrissey. It was very fascinating how I found out about her. I had never received any communication from her, and one day an email showed up in my inbox from Mary Morrissey, and I clicked on it and I bought one of her programs, and I found that her programs were starting to change my life in ways that were very positive. And when I was presented with Mary's life coaching program, I knew that I wanted to take that step. I have found when I teach principles, it is much easier for me to stay immersed in them and to implement them. So I enrolled and went through a rigorous training process to become certified as a Dream Builder life coach. And I am so glad that I did. I love being a life coach. It is so rewarding seeing all of the progress with the people that I work with. Now, what's your next big dream? Imagine how you will feel when your dream becomes a reality. In the Dream Builder program, there are 10 principles that will skyrocket your success when you apply them to your life. Today, you will learn 3 of these principles that you can apply right now to help you create a life that you love. Here is my promise to you. I will give you the best I can in the time we have together. And at the end of this presentation, many of you will want to take this information further and integrate it into your life. And I have a special gift that will help you to do that I'm going to give you at the end of the presentation. And I think you will really like it. We are constantly creating results in our lives. We create results in 2 ways. The first way is by default. This means that we are actually living our life out of our patterns. We may have a pattern of victimhood. We may have a pattern of feeling sorry for ourselves. We may have a pattern of delaying what we need to do for ourselves. There are so many patterns that get ingrained in us when we are little, and they run on automatic. So this is one way that we create results by default. The other way we can create results is by design. And this is what we do in the Dream Builder program. We absolutely design a life that we absolutely love. Now, let's learn to expand your awareness for success in the areas of life that matter to you. There are four major domains of life in which we experience results. The first is our health and well-being. The second is our love and relationships. The next one is our vocation. And the last one is time and money freedom. Everybody has results in each of these areas of their life right now. The results that you are getting in your life in these areas are a perfect reflection of your awareness in these areas. So we will start to become more aware of our patterns. And once we dissolve our patterns, we will get closer and closer to a life that we really do love. So let's expand your awareness together by studying the pattern that creates your results, or what I call the results formula. The formula looks like this. First, we have thoughts in our mind. Our thoughts cause us to have certain feelings. Our feelings then propel us to take actions. And when we take an action, we get a result. Now, there is one other area that is not shown on this results formula. And I learned about this area last year when I was training for the compassion key. And this is the area of our wounds that we have within us. We all get wounded along the way. It's inescapable. When we get wounded and we do not get an understanding, we don't get compassion for the wound, we don't get the love and the care and the tenderness that we need to help us move through the wounds can get stuck in us. They can get frozen in us. And that sets up a pattern. So that pattern runs automatically. We talked about that earlier with running on default. This is a very imperative area to know about. A lot of our thoughts do come out of our patterns, and they just come up when we get into similar situations from our wounding, and then we get stuck in a default process that leads us to results we really don't want. Yes. So I really help people with the compassion key. It's an amazing technique. It's so very quick. It's so life-changing. You can do decades of counseling and not really get at the wounds. You can kind of talk around them, talk about them. Counseling does help you get through the very difficult situations that you've gotten yourself into, but it does not know how to get at the original wound that keeps causing these horrible situations to happen. And we can do that in just an hour, 2 hours. You know, it's amazing. Okay, so I just definitely wanted to talk about that area. Now, let's go back to the results formula. Let's think about a thought. Let's think the thought, oh, I've lost my wallet. What do you feel after you think that thought? If you're like me, you feel panic, you feel worried, you feel like a dread, you know, what's going to happen? You know, somebody's got my wallet and all my stuff is in there, all my information is in there. And that could cause us to take certain actions. We could start getting on the phone and calling everybody we can think of. Do you have my wallet? I think I left my wallet there. You know, and then we have results. You know, our body gets stressed out and, you know, we're in high anxiety and all that. So that is an example of how a thought can cause this whole formula to go through. Now, our thoughts also cause our body physiology to change. When you thought about losing your wallet, maybe your heart started to beat really fast. Your breathing may have gotten shallow. Maybe your palms even got sweaty. This is how a thought can change our body physiology. Now, let's think a different thought. Let's think the thought, oh, that's right, I left my wallet in my coat pocket. How are you feeling now? Relieved. Yes, so relieved, so grateful. So then you're going to go through a whole different path here, because your actions are, maybe you'll just sit down and write in your gratitude journal and say, thank you, God, that my wallet wasn't lost. And the results are, you're in a happy, more joyous state. And maybe you call a friend and tell them, oh, I'm just so happy I found my wallet, and total different results. Now, the true cause of all of our results is right in our own mind. Yes, it is. What we think gives us our results, and results never lie. So if you want to know what you have been thinking, or if you want to know what the patterns are that are running, look at your results. If you have a certain situation that keeps occurring, think back. What preceded that? What thoughts was I thinking before this result came? Or what pattern is running here? I'm going to talk more about patterns later, and maybe you'll identify some of the patterns that you have going on. Some people resist the concept that they're actually responsible for their own results. I know I was. I wanted to blame other people. I didn't want to take responsibility that my results were actually being generated from myself. We don't like that our life is a result of our own thinking or of our own patterns. This is a truth that can be difficult to accept. Nonetheless, it's still true. You can say, I don't believe it. I don't like it. I don't want to believe it. I'm not going to believe it. It doesn't matter. It's still true. But the good news is that we can change our thinking, and we can heal our wounds. We can dissolve the patterns. Yes, we can. If you want to create new results in your life, then you must begin by learning and adopting new tools. In order to get something different, you must do something different. Now I'm going to introduce you to the first brave thinking tool. And that tool is this. Notice what you are noticing. So I invite you to do a little experience with me. Just notice your feet on the floor right now. Now notice your calves. Now notice your knees. And bring your attention to your thighs and notice your thighs. Then notice your hips and your abdomen. Now notice your chest and your throat. And now move your attention up to your head and notice what's going on up there. Notice what you're noticing with your thoughts. This is where we really want to use this tool. It is imperative that we notice what thoughts that we are thinking. This is brave thinking tool number 1. We are going to use this tool in our first exercise called the life assessment. And you're going to notice your current results. You might be a person who doesn't know what your dream is. You just know there's something more for you. Or maybe you have lots of dreams and you don't know whether to choose one or create them all at once. Every one of us has a dream inside of us somewhere. And we probably have more than one. Now you will need paper and something to write with for this exercise. So if you need to get that. We are going to look at the health and well-being area. That is the first area we're going to look at. You might be a person who feels stuck in your ability to transform your health. Or maybe you have relatively good health, no symptoms really, but you know that there's more vibrancy and aliveness that you could feel. Okay, I am going to have you write down one or two things that you are noticing in your health and well-being area. And I'm going to time you. I'm going to give you 1 minute so we can stay on track. So ready, write. There are 15 seconds left. Okay, time is up. Now, the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 being your health is exponentially good, it's wonderful, you're feeling fantastic. And 1 is you don't feel good at all. You have so many health issues. So on a scale of 1 to 5, where are you? So just write down a number. Okay, good job. Now we're moving on to the next area, which is love and relationships. You might be a person who longs to have a beautiful, deep, fun, and passionate relationship with a loving and caring partner. Or maybe you would love to deepen, expand, and have more fun with the relationship that you are already in. Let's take 1 minute and write down 1 or 2 things you're noticing in this area. I'm going to ask you to pick one relationship. Maybe it's a relationship with your spouse or a parent or a sibling or a child. Choose one relationship and focus on that and just write down 1 or 2 things that you're noticing. Ready, go. There are 15 seconds left. Okay, time is up. And once again, give yourself a rating. Where are you at with this relationship? Is it really open and feeling connected, or is it full of stress and strain? So 5 if it's really doing well, and 1 if it's not doing well, or anywhere in the middle there. Okay, great. Now we're going to move on to vocation, or how you express yourself in the world. You might be a person who feels stuck in a job you don't like, just like I was. Or maybe you like your work, but you work too many hours and you want more freedom. Let's take 1 minute and write down 1 or 2 things you're noticing about your current results and your vocation. Ready, go. There are 15 seconds left. Okay, time is up. And you can give yourself a rating, a scale of 1 to 5. Where are you at? And our last area, time and money freedom. You might be a person who feels out of balance, like you have more time than money or more money than time, and you'd love to feel more in harmony. I love that word harmony. It's so beautiful. If we are having a life that's in harmony, that is a beautiful thing. That's where we want to get to. So let's take 1 minute and write down 1 or 2 things that you're noticing about your time and money freedom. Ready, go. There are 15 seconds left. Okay, and one final thing. Give yourself a rating on a scale of 1 to 5 of where you feel you're at in this area. I want to commend you for doing this exercise. This can be difficult for us to do because oftentimes when things are not going good, we want to not look at it. And it's generally a good idea to not focus on things that are bad for us. But if we never look at what is causing us discontent, how are we ever going to change it? So thank you for being open and honest with yourself about what's going on in your life. Yes, I'm proud of you for doing that. So we just completed the life assessment in all these areas. Good job. And this brings us to the first principle of dream building, and this is designing your dream. I want to share a few quotes with you about vision and about dreams. The first one is from the Dalai Lama, and he says, in order to carry a positive action, we develop here a positive vision. In the Bible, in the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 18, it says, where there is no vision, people perish. This is how important it is for us to have a vision. Otherwise, we are just floundering around being unproductive. We really are. We do not want to perish in this life. We want to be productive and happy and giving and sharing people. And how are we going to do that? We set out a vision. That's how we do that. Earl Nightingale said, people with goals succeed because they know where they are going. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream, by C.S. Lewis. And Harriet Tubman said, every great dream begins with a dreamer. And lastly, Eleanor Roosevelt said, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. The one word I want to point out to you is believe. We really must believe that our vision, our dream will come true. We don't want to waffle around in doubt and say, oh, it's never going to come true. No, we want to get into the space where I've dreamed up this vision and I believe it is coming to me. And I will teach you how to get there. Because we don't just sit there and wait for it to come to us. We take action. You must have action steps. Clarity is power. Without a clearly defined blueprint, you cannot build your dream. Just like you must have a clear blueprint if you want to build a house. The same is true for your dream. When you become clear on what it is you really want in life, you begin to see opportunities, circumstances, and resources that you would have otherwise missed. Remember earlier I talked about our awareness? So when you get clear about what you want, what you would love, you start to see things that you never saw before. They may have been there, but you missed them because your awareness was not at this higher level. It was down here, lower. So let's design the blueprint for your dream and let's make it crystal clear. Consider the 4 domains of your life: your health and well-being, your love and relationships, your vocation, and your time and money freedom. For our purposes today, choose one area that you would love to improve the most. One area. The quality of our life is determined by the questions that we ask. This is a very important concept to understand. I'm going to give you some examples of questions in just a minute. And we are absolutely going to unlock your imagination with one simple question. And this is Brave Thinking Tool number 2. It's a question. What would I love? That's it. This is Brave Thinking Tool number 2. Ask yourself, what would I love? Imagine like you did when you were a child where nothing was impossible. No dream was out of reach. Now, notice this question of what would I love and how it is so very different compared to this question. What do I think I can do? That's very limiting because we have our past experiences and we've done certain things. So we think we can only do certain things. We're not going to get outside of our realm of things that we know how to do. But what do I think I can do? It's like, I don't know if I can do that. So it holds you back. Now, another question that's very diminishing to yourself is, what does my current situation say that I can do? We're trying to get permission from our circumstances. Brave thinkers do not live and dream out of their circumstances. No, we dream out of our imagination. Here is another one that people get so caught up in. And here's the question. What do other people think I should do? How do they know what you love? They don't. We're giving our power over to someone else when we ask them, well, what do you think I should do? They don't know what's best for you. You know what's best for you. And we just have to uncover all the junk in the way of your knowing. Now, another thing I want to caution you about is asking why and when questions. Why questions have a tendency to pull us into victimhood. Let's just say you had a flat tire on the way to work. And your first question is, why did this have to happen to me? Why didn't my husband check my tires? These are all about victimhood. Why did that happen to me? You're complaining in a question. Okay, now, when questions drag us into whining, here's what that would sound like. When is my dream ever going to come? Well, when is the money ever going to show up? This is whining. Complaining and whining are the languages of the devil. We do not want to get caught up in whining and complaining. Why? Well, first of all, it makes us feel terrible. It makes us feel like a failure. And secondly, whatever you put your attention on, you get more of. So if you keep whining and complaining about your situations, you are going to attract more situations that cause you to whine and complain. We need to be very aware of where we're putting our attention. So let's go back to this very empowering question. What would you love? Next, I'm going to take you through another exercise, and it's called the time machine. Imagine you are getting into a time machine and traveling 3 years into the future. And 3 years from now, everything you wanted completely worked out for you. I would like you to write across your paper this phrase. It's the beginning of a sentence. I am so happy and grateful now that. This is actually the beginning of your vision. It's the beginning of your dream that you're dreaming of. So go ahead and write this out. Okay, great. In a moment, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write down what you would love in this area of your life that you chose. Suspend any urge to figure out how this result is going to happen now. We're not focusing on the how, we're just dreaming and visioning right now. This is simply what you would love, as if someone gave you the power to create exactly what you wanted. Now, I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose and breathe out real slow through your mouth, like you're blowing through a straw. Again, breathe in through your nose, breathing out nice and slow through your mouth. This calms down our nervous system so that we can get into the creative side of our brain. Now imagine that it is 3 years from now. It is 2026 and all challenges are solved. Consider what you would love for your life. What great things are occurring for you? If you could not fail, what experiences are you having? Who are you with? See all of that. How does it feel? Now open your eyes and take 2 minutes and write as much as you can, painting a beautiful picture of the life you are imagining. Ready, go. There are 15 seconds left. Okay, wonderful. Now, at the bottom of this vision that you just dreamed up, I would love for you to write this phrase, this or something even better still. So go ahead. The reason that we're adding this to the bottom of our vision is because we do not want to limit what could come to us. We want to say something even better still. Maybe there's something more fabulous for us, but from where we're at right now, we cannot see it. Our awareness is not allowing us to see it. So let's keep it open. We're telling God, God, this vision or something even better. He may have something even better for us. So keep that wide open. Now, if you choose to work with me in the Dream Builder program, we will get more clarity in this vision and we will expand it to all 4 areas of your life. But there are so many other dimensions to creating a vision that I'll help you with if you get, to working with me. Okay, so we are on our way. This is the beginning of designing a life that you would love. I know you might not know how this dream is going to happen, and that's okay for now. Great dream builders are willing to suspend the need to know the how at the beginning of this process. Now that you have the start of a clearly defined dream, let's move on to principle number 2, which is deciding for your dream. Best-selling author and life coach Bob Proctor said this: there is a simple mental move you can make, which in a millisecond will solve enormous problems for you. It has the potential to improve almost any personal or business situation you will ever encounter, and it could literally propel you down the path to incredible success. We have a name for this mental activity, and it is called decision. You must make a firm decision for what it is you want before you will bring your dream into a reality. Deciding for new results is an action step we can take to get us out of our old results. Remember, I talked earlier about we can't just vision it up and sit. No, we must take action steps. I have a story for you to help you understand how the Dream Builder program helped change Judy's life. Judy did not have much education. She worked in a fast food restaurant during the day and did alterations as a seamstress at night. She lived in a tiny 1-bedroom apartment with her 2 children. Her dream was to have a home for her family. Judy came across the Dream Builder program, and she decided that if she was ever going to change her life, that she needed support. So she took a huge leap and made a decision for her dream and enrolled in the Dream Builder program. This was a tough thing for Judy to do, but she got up her courage and she made a decision to change her life. She told her coach that her dream was to own her own home, but that she only had $500 a month for rent or a house payment. She believed there was no way she could ever buy or rent a house for $500 a month. Her coach asked her to describe the house she dreamed of, but Judy had great difficulty doing that. It was a real struggle for her, but eventually Judy did come up with a description of her dream house. Now, whenever Judy would think about her dream house, she fell into, oh, I can't ever get it. I can't afford it. She got into that whole victimhood stuff. But with the support of her coach said to Judy, now that you have a mental picture of the house, go out and look for it. That's the action step. Go out and look for your house. It's not going to come up to you. No, you've got to go looking for it. Judy thought this was such a crazy idea, but her coach encouraged her to go look, and she did. After 2 weeks, Judy called her coach and said happily, I found my dream home. But she added, it's $900 a month rent, and there's no way I can afford it. Had Judy been on her own, that would have been the end of it. And to this day, she still might be living in that tiny one-bedroom apartment. Her coach, on the other hand, knew the language, the mindset, and the questions to ask. These are all things we've talked about. The language of success, the mindset of the noticing your thoughts and choosing better, greater thoughts, and the questions to ask, the empowering questions to ask. So the coach asked Judy, if you did not know it was impossible and you really thought there was a chance, what would you do? At first, Judy just couldn't even think about that question. But after a week or so, she thought, okay, what would I do if I thought it was possible to live in that house? And she got an answer. When we ask God an answer, or a question, he gives us an answer. He does. It's just the way it works. Her answer was that she would write a letter to the owner and explain her situation. In her letter, Judy described 40 things she personally would do to improve the home if the owner would provide the materials and rent to her for $500 a month. Good idea, huh? 3 weeks later, she got a call from the homeowner, and he said, I don't know why I'm doing this, but something in your letter just won't leave me alone. Here's the deal. You sign a contract outlining what you will do every quarter, and I'll let you live in the house for 1 year for $500 a month. Judy immediately called her coach and told her with a giant smile on her face, we're moving in 30 days. I will have my dream home. Isn't that a wonderful story? Love that story. Actually, the story does not end there. Over the course of the year, Judy did everything she promised the owner she would do. And she kept renting from that owner for 3 more years. And at that point, Judy bought that house from the owner. Her dream had come true. She had a home for her and her children. And she learned a new way of thinking thanks to her coach. That new way of brave thinking also got her a new career. Judy started her own home-based business, and she got to spend more time with her children while her income soared. Her life had a whole new meaning. Now, what about you? What about your dreams? It all starts with making a decision. It starts by saying to yourself, today is the day I'm going after this dream. I often tell people that I work with in one of my businesses, we're doing this. We're going for this. We're doing this. We're doing this thing. We're not letting disappointments and doubts creep in. We see them, we notice them, we say, no, we're doing this thing. We're keeping going. We're doing it. It's such an empowering way to think and live. Go ahead and read this next screen. I am always so amazed when I do this masterclass and read the screen. I can read it just like it's typed properly. So I want you to relate this to your dream. So let's look at the word, okay? So we know the beginning letter and we know the ending letter, and the middle is jumbled up, it's kind of mixed up and unknown to us. Doesn't matter, we can still read the word. Let's relate that to our dream. We know the beginning. It's where we are right now. That's the beginning of our dream. It's right where we are. And the end of our dream is what we just visioned up a few minutes ago. And in the middle, we don't know all the steps to get there. It doesn't matter. We will still get there anyway. Once we take one step, we look around, we have more awareness, and we say, oh, I didn't see that before. I didn't see that that was a choice. I didn't see that was an option. And so then we make our best decision in the moment. And if it isn't working out, then we just go over here and say, okay, well, that wasn't the right direction for me. So let's go over here and go this direction, because I really feel like this is my next best choice. And this is how it works. Choosing and taking action and deciding gets us to the dream. It's such a beautiful process. We just decide for new results. We just give up all the old patterns and thoughts and jump into new thinking and new results. We have where you are now, and we have what you would love, and in the middle is the how. Okay, we are going to put the how off to the side. We're going to put a strike through it and know that the hows will show up for us as we move along. We really want to tap into our faith and our patience in this process. No new process can begin and no new path can be forged until a decision has been made. But once you make a firm decision, even in the absence of perfect conditions, a whole manner of things begin to occur and rush to your aid for the fulfillment of that decision. Remember when Judy had written the letter to that landlord? This is how it works. The landlord was part of her vision. He did not know why her letter kept nagging at him. He had other offers of full $900 rent. He didn't take it. He was drawn to Judy. And this is how it works. Things line up for your dream. It's so amazing to experience. It's actually so much fun. Next, we're going to look at dream building principle number 3. Now, all of these principles we do go into in much deeper detail in the Dream Builder program. So principle number 3 is befriending your fear. We all know that when we do something new, fear comes up. It's just the way it works. What I mean by befriending your fear is doing the thing you really want to do, even when fear rises up and does everything it can to stop it. It's going to want to stop you, but we just want to instead notice, oh, there's my fear because I'm stepping into something new. And just say, well, thank you for showing up because, yeah, I know I'm stepping into something new and I'm going to turn my attention away from my fear and take that action step despite the fear. We are going to get into the nasty voices that can come up when we start to make improvements in our life. We'll hear these phrases in our mind, and some of them might sound like this. Yeah, right, that isn't going to happen. How are you ever going to do that? Where will you find the time and where will you get the money? There are some other things that I want to talk about, and these come from our paradigms or our patterns. These are pretty similar words to each other, patterns and paradigms. Yes, these are the phrases that cause us to stay stuck. They cause us to not move forward. Now, I really want to talk about some of these patterns that trip us up and keep us really right where we are in the same old life. The first one is the pattern of delay. I hear this quite often. People say, now it's just not a good time. I'm going to wait till later. When you hear yourself saying that, recognize that this is a pattern of delay. When you have an idea and an inspiration, it is meant to be acted on in the moment. It's not meant to be put off for 6 months. No, it's not. The next pattern is the pattern of shame. This is such a debilitating pattern. Shame is the lowest vibrating feeling that we as human beings can feel. It is the worst spot for us to be. We want to be feeling love and joy and abundance and gratitude. If we're down in shame, that is a horrible place for us. What might shame sound like? Well, you don't have the money for that. That is so irresponsible. You're actually shaming yourself, saying, oh, shame on you for being so irresponsible. Oh, I even hate saying those phrases because shame is so debilitating. The next pattern is the pattern of I'm not good enough. This is such a common pattern. Somewhere along the way, someone made you believe the lie that you are not good enough. You started to agree with them that you're not good enough. And this might sound like what you're saying to yourself. Well, you don't have the experience or the credentials to do that. Who are you to have that dream? When you start to hear words like that, stop yourself and just make yourself think a new thought. Make yourself go in a different direction. Stop beating yourself up with these horrible phrases. I just did a video on this. I do a weekly video and I post them on Facebook. And it was about how we use our memory to terrorize ourselves. So we go back into the past and think of a mistake we made, and we just beat ourselves up over how we made that mistake and how awful it was and how it hurt yourself or how it hurt others. Do not do that to yourself. Forgive yourself for the mistake you made. Know that God has forgiven you. If it comes up in your mind again, what I have learned to do is when that mistake comes up or when I'm feeling bad about it, I shift it and I just go into gratefulness. I say, God, thank you so much for forgiving me for that. You don't have to ask God to forgive you again. He forgave you already. He heard you the first time. Just shift out of all that awful thinking, out of all of that mean thinking, stop terrorizing yourself and get into better, more grateful thoughts. There is a very determined part of you. And then there's a part of you that wonders, what if I fail? Okay, so what if you do fail? How many of us have had failures in our life? We all have. We absolutely all have. When we were babies, we all started out as non-walkers. As a non-walker, you rose up and then you probably fell down. But what did you do next? You rose up. You might have fallen down again, but when you were learning to walk, never once did you think to yourself, well, that's it. I guess I'm not meant to be a walker. I'm just not going to be able to do it. No, you rose up and you kept going. You wanted to be walking like the other people in your house. You finally became a walker. And we learn to walk by falling down. Something happens to us when we become adults. We stop giving ourselves permission to fall down. We stop giving ourselves permission to make mistakes. We are going to make mistakes when we go into new ventures. We've never been in this territory before. Yes, we're going to make mistakes. Just be gentle with yourself and say, I did not know it was going to turn out this way. I'm going to change directions. I'm going to go this way instead because that way did not turn out good for me. All right. I have some quotes for you. They are from successful people. Oftentimes we just see that, oh, there's this successful people and we think they just magically got there. No, they didn't. They had a lot of failures and stumbles along the way. Oprah was fired from TV executives because they said she was not fit for TV. And Steven Spielberg was rejected from film school 3 times. And this loan application was rejected 242 times. Fear and failure are prerequisites for achieving great dreams. So when the voice of doubt questions you and asks, what if I fail? Let your response be, I might fail, but if I do, I will rise up and keep going and I will succeed. Befriend your fear. You can do it. Parts of you want to go forward. This is another brave thinking tool. I'm going to give you a bonus today. So all of you is not afraid. Only part of you is. Section that part off. Because part of you wants to go forward. And part of you wants to stay where you are because you're afraid, or play small, some people say. And in the middle is fear. So we're going to treat fear just like we did the how. Not today fear. You can put it off to the side. And you can actually just postpone it and say, okay, fear, I see you there. I'm going to check in with you in 3 days. Give it 3 days. And in 3 days, check back in. Is there any fear left? Maybe you haven't even thought about the fear and you even forget about checking in with it because it no longer exists. Fear has 2 companions I want you to be on the lookout for, and they are doubt and worry. What we are going to do is turn our attention away from all 3 of these detrimental habits, and we are going to focus on our dream. So what is one thing you can do today? How do we give power to the part of us that wants to move forward when we are hearing the voice that wants us to stay the same? There's a whole process to this that I take my clients through in the Dream Builder program. For our purposes today, I'm going to give you one thing you can do. Ask the question, what is one action step I can take that would move me in the direction of my dream? Then take that action. Now take a look at your dream. There's absolutely some action step that you can take to start moving toward the life that you would love. What is that action step for you? Take a few seconds and write down an action step. Now pick a date and a time for your action step and put it on your calendar. This is a promise to yourself that I am going to do this thing. And honor yourself by doing that. Progress is more important than perfection. So taking even the smallest step toward your dream will make a difference because you're going to be in a different place. Now, if you did not think up an action step in the time that we had here today, I encourage you to get an action step and put it in your calendar before the end of the day. Yes. Now, moving on to, before we get to this screen, I want to tell you about Brave Thinking tool number 3. And this is to do what you can with what you have from where you are. This is where our action steps come from. We do what we can with what we have from where we are. We don't have to sit back and say, well, I can't do that because blah, 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 blah. That's all victim stuff. The empowering thing to come back to is Brave Thinking tool number 3. Do what you can with what you have from where you are. It could be just as simple as writing out a list or calling someone or researching something, taking a walk and asking God for answers to your question. I don't know what action step you are going to want to take, but those are some ideas that might help you brainstorm your own action step. The choices and the actions you take today are ultimately who you become tomorrow. So those are just 3 of the 10 steps in the Dream Builder program: designing your dream, deciding for your dream, and befriending your fear. You are worthy of your dream and a life that you absolutely love. Yes, you are. We all are. And now, as we come to a close, here's the gift I promised you. It's a special gift for those of you who are ready to take action on your dream. I schedule time each week for visioning sessions. These are 45 to 60-minute phone conversations where we get clear on exactly where you are, what you would love to create, and the next most important step you can take that will move you in the direction of your dream. This one-to-one session is valued at $250. If you are ready to invest in achieving your dream, your next step is to have a visioning session with me at no charge. I have several sessions available. You can simply email me or call or text me at 563-217-0029 to schedule. Or if you prefer, you can send me a message on Facebook. Remember, as you walk back into your life, know that what is inside of you is far greater than any challenge you are facing. You have incredible power within you. This is your moment. Today is your day to take bold action and know that I believe you can. I didn't come this far to only come this far. Did you? If life is still breathing you, life is not done with you yet because something magnificent is happening with you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.